On this installment of Creative Cabin Fever, I have Paper Tigers. Paper Tigers are a wonderful band from Northern Ireland, so it's really exciting to talk to people from Northern Ireland from time to time. We already had Amy Montgomery, which was an impressive interview. So, Paper Tigers, good evening.
Hi, how are you?
Good. It's hard to stay upbeat in this moment in time, but I'm giving it my best.
Managing.
Yeah. So you just released your third single, and it's already got over 10,000 streams. How does that feel?
Yeah, it's great. It's great putting all the effort in and seeing the return on it, and like it's kind of takes you back a little, like thinking that there's 10,000 people all over the world that are listening to a song I wrote in my living room one Saturday. You know, like it's insane, and because we have been played like America, Australia, like there's a lot in like Ukraine for some reason, Germany. You know, on Spotify artists, it gives you like where it all like is played from. I'm just like, who are these people that are listening to us? But yeah, it's unreal. It's so good. Like it's just, yeah, I still can't get over the like someone in Australia plays our song and they love it enough to do that. Like this guy plays our stuff down there continually. It's just amazing. So good.
Yeah, but the song is really good. Like I had it on my Halloween playlist actually, because I tried to do an all Irish Halloween playlist this year, and I was like, I like this. This is really good. Like,
yeah, well, like I just kind of think there's this band called Pretty Girls Make Graves, and like I love them. There it is there, and so I kind of think and that's a big influence on me, like for the band and the songwriting and stuff, and kind of think it veers towards that a little. You know, it's like it's not a really kind of like verse chorus verse kind of song. It's kind of like it's in two halves, you know. But yeah, it's a bit different, and like I was kind of weary putting it out as a single because it's not like 3.5 minutes and here's a big hook and a big chorus. Like it's a bit of a journey, you know, and especially like I sing in it a bit, which is like I scream loads. I'd say sing, it's a very loose term, but yeah, so just all those different elements. But regardless of that, it seems that like it would go as far as say it's our most successful song to date, just with like the speed that people seem to be picking it up and the amount of people who are writing about it and like the positive feedback we're getting from it. So yeah, it's amazing. It's really, really exciting.
no, it is, especially like your third release. Like, so you know, you put your first baby out there and you're kind of disappointed. And then your second baby did a really good journey as well, even though it took a little bit longer. And now your third baby is just like, and you're like, wow, in the middle of a pandemic where we can't even gig.
Yeah, like that's we were kind of talking about it before, and Flames came out the first week of lockdown. We'd already planned, and like I think we'd like 12 shows booked to help promote it, because like we want to go out and play, and you know that's when you start to see like how people react to it and if it's really landing and it's good, because the number is just a number, you know. Like we want to go out and meet people and sweat in front of them, and like, you know, that's what this is all about for us. And then so at the start of, it was the end of March, Flames came out, and then all those gigs got cancelled, and like festivals and tours and all that. And then so, but now we recorded those songs September, October last year. So now it's been like a whole year, and we're kind of like, we didn't want to sit on stuff anymore. You know, we wanted to get it out, and it's just like, it's a nice kind of tail end of this year. And then it means next year we can go and do a whole bunch of other stuff. And I just realized you have a dog on your bed, just seeing its wee face.
This is Tucker.
He's famous now. I'm actually watching my hamster in the background just throw itself around the cage as well. It's really distracting. Anyway.
What color is your hamster?
Huh?
What color is the hamster?
He's kind of grey yellow. It's my kid's hamster. He's called Cereal. And we cleaned his cage today, so he's just going mad.
Sure, I used to have a hamster when I was 16. His name was Ozzy, and he lived in Hamsterdam. That's what I called his cage.
That's amazing. Yeah, I can't remember how you got on the hamsters.
Look, you asked about Tucker.
Yeah. So yeah, and then this one, it just kind of bookends this year for us. And then like we lost our drummer. We left him somewhere. I don't know where he's went. And so like it just kind of tails everything off, and like we're playing with new people, and there's going to be new material, and it's incredibly different to those kinds of three songs, because like I say, they were written, like I wrote them before like I even had people to play with, so they're kind of old, and now we've like been together a while, things have moved on, you know.
But it's a completely new time for all of us, okay? So we have to be more inventive about how we release. And
Sure.
it's a really hard decision to make as a band. Do we actually release this now, or do we store it? And then if we store it, all the ideas that are coming to us now, what the hell do we do with them? And then do we
Yeah.
cut all the ideas? So like talk me through your personal journey and process with those decisions.
Yeah, like for lack of a better term, like I kind of like manage the band, and like would be kind of the driving force behind, like I write the songs and like come up with the design and manage socials and everything. So like it kind of falls to me, like I'll talk it through with the other guys, but certainly whenever we're released Flames, then I have a process whenever it comes out, like reaching out to press and radio and all that kind of thing. And we did get such a good response because I think people were just getting used to being locked in the house, and everyone had their phone in their hand all the time. So I was like, this is a good time because everybody's gonna want to listen to stuff. And like it's been interesting over lockdown that we have seen so many new releases, like more so than we would have previously. And I think a lot of bands are just like, they don't want, well, I maybe can't speak for them, but certainly from our point of view, like you don't want to be forgotten. And because you're not out playing, there you still have to come up with ways to keep people interested and like produce content, and like you can't really be together, so how do you do that? And so it has been challenging, and that was part of the reason that I wanted to bring another single out. Like that's two singles we released during lockdown. That's, some people are probably like, what are you doing? But like it just keeps the band fresh in people's minds. Plus, like I said, it just made like this was the timeline before any of this happened that I was working to. Like I'm a planner, so I've like, what year are we in? What year is it? 2020. So like I'm like 2022 planning already. Like I mean, so I was still working to what I want to happen next year in line with this. And if I had held this back, then something else would have got pushed back and something else. And like I'm really optimistic that at some point next year things will return to normality. So I'll be able to do the things that I want to do with the band. Like we're gonna go record, and then we have a UK tour booked for June, and then we've shows booked in like March and June here. And so I'm still like planning that things are gonna happen. And hopefully they do. I mean, that would be amazing for a multitude of reasons. So but yeah, it's just to kind of, you want to keep fresh in people's minds and remind them and let them know that you're still here and you're still working on stuff. And the response we've had from people listening, the interviews, people writing about it, and then we've like sold out the merch 3 times now. So yeah, it's like, and I think that's incredible from our point of view, because that's amazing, but also that people are willing to spend money in a time that people don't really have money and help support like local artists and talent, and like that I think is incredible and heartwarming.
Yeah, so to me, merch is a big, massive deal. Like, since lockdown started the first time around, I made a Viking pact that every single week I would buy 3 items of merch from local Irish bands.
Yeah.
And I've done it. Like, so we had a music festival that was a 10-hour stream called Transmission, and I wore 37 Irish bands during that 10-hour stream because I changed my t-shirt as often as possible to try showcase the Irish music industry.
Yeah, I seen on your Instagram, you're like always Irish band t-shirts. It's amazing. So cool.
Yeah, now the question is, what do I do with all these t-shirts? Because I'm scared
That's
to
a
count
lot of
them. Like,
jobs. Yeah. Yeah, like the merch thing, like we're careful that we don't oversaturate, because as much as we want to bring loads of stuff out, then people only have so much money as well, and like then it puts pressure on us because it costs money to make money. Um, but yeah, it's just been great that people are willing to buy it. We're actually working on one at the minute, and it's like do you ever hear of Sucky Panther? It's like this tattoo that this guy got. It is awful. It's meant to be a tiger or a panther, and like it just looks like a 7-year-old drew it. So because we're paper tigers, we're gonna do Sucky Tiger. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. We're gonna do stickers and shirts and everything. So yeah, that's next year though. It'll come out next year.
I will buy one next year.
I'll send you one.
Yeah, I've been using Everpress to do limited edition merch. Well, I've only done one t-shirt so far. So what I did is I put money aside to be able to pay a artist that I admired. So the
Mhm.
first one I did with a graffiti artist, he told me his price. I went, no problem at all. Launched the t-shirt, didn't make my money back, but then I saved up more money to pay the next artist, and that's what I'm going to do. So every time the t-shirt sells, it's actually a way for me to ensure that a different type of art form is still being pushed during this weird time.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's so good. Like I really respect and love that you're doing so much for other people. Like I run this Old Crows promotions thing, so I put on shows as well, because and it comes at it from a point of view of just like giving more opportunities for more people to play. And like there's bands from here, like this band called Fagash McCann from, well, they're not from Belfast, but they're from Northern Ireland. They're like a two-piece, and my old band Thieves played with them. And it's just like now, anytime I put on a show, I'm like, "Do you guys want to play?" I just think they're great, and like I'll put them on every show. Like I think they've probably played most of the ones I've put on, to be fair. But it's just to help showcase local talent, and because it does mean so much to me. Like I'm 35 now, and like I've been playing, and I've been in band since I was like 14. So like Belfast has allowed me to make this ridiculous noise for the last 21 years or whatever. So I think it's important, like if you have an opportunity to do something, and like a lot of people pay lip service to it and everything, but like you got to put your money where your mouth is sometimes, and just go ahead and actually, put something out there, help people. I think
Yeah,
it would be like the whole scene up here would be so much better if people were like really willing to go the extra mile to help people and just pull the whole thing along, um, and just make it more and more of a relevant scene, like nationally recognized relevant scene. Talked to somebody else about this before, like because obviously bands come over here and they're more likely to go to Dublin because they're like it's the capital, and that's cool, and like it's a big city, whereas like Belfast, it's just we could do so much if we just work together. I mean that's always been the difficulty, hasn't it? But
I
yeah,
agree though. I would love to be able to send some of my bands up to you and take some of your bands down to me. Like that would be the dream. Do you know what I mean?
and
And I have a few other promoters around the country that I work very close with, so we should probably talk about doing that in the future when we can. That would be amazing.
yeah, like I I've been talking to XO about doing it a wee bit, and I used to go to this place called the Warzone Collective. It was called Jarrows in Belfast, and like whenever I was far too young to be going to shows or whatever, and like it was a whole like punk DIY collective, and like probably like the purest form of it. It's not just like Liberty Spikes and studded belts, and there was so many bands came up to play down here and then went down there, and it was like gig swaps, and like I seen some amazing bands like Redneck Manifesto. I seen a bunch of times from Dublin, like Sweep the Leg Johnny. Do you ever hear of those guys? They have like they had a saxophone player, and like I seen them in the cafe. It was insane. It was insane. But that kind of thing, it just doesn't happen now, and it should, because both scenes have so much to offer, and it should be more symbiotic, and mutually beneficial for everybody. We should talk about that.
Yes, we will talk
100%.
about
Yeah.
that. So yeah, first question then that popped into my head there. So you've been in band since you were 14. What was your first band like? I recently found the recordings of my first band, right? I was in a punk band when I was 16 called Spilt Milk, and there is now a CD that has been found this week of me being in a punk band when I was 16.
What do you play?
Bass, very poorly, and backing singing.
Amazing. Amazing. You got to upload that to YouTube.
Oh.
Spilt Milk. My first band, yeah, the first one I was in was called Fluid, and we were pretty awful. Like we definitely we played. The first show I ever played was with them, and my mum and dad booked the show, and they got their friends. There was this band called the Cabin Boy, and they're from Belfast. They were amazing, like instrumental, groove, kind of rhythmic. I don't want to say stoner, but like that kind of thing. And also Redneck Manifesto from Dublin played, and it's like these two amazing bands, and there we are doing like a Sepultura cover, and there's video of it. I have a t-shirt from it, and like, but I had the best time, and it was just like so good. It was so good. It was amazing, but we sucked. We were awful, awful. My brother got up and done a song with us. He can't sing, but it didn't matter. But it was a great night. It's one of those things that it always sticks with you, you know. And then I think the second band I was in was called Yield. We were not much better. Yeah, things just kind of like trundled along, and then like you kind of get into your first kind of serious band or whatever. But yeah, still doing it today though. And then I played drums and all that. I played drums. I started off as a drummer, and then just ended up playing guitar. Couldn't play guitar the first time. My fingers wouldn't work.
That's crazy. Like, because I interviewed someone for a different project I'm working with. I'm the musical director for an art gallery in Waterford, and because we can't open the doors, I've been interviewing all the artists from there. And one of my childhood friends actually, who found the Spilt Milk thing, he's a drummer, but he broke his ankle last year, so he taught himself guitar this year. So that's mad. What made you go from drumming to guitar?
I used to be married, and then we had a kid, and then you can't play drums in the house with like a 2-month-old or whatever. So I'd always just kind of mucked about. I didn't really know what it was. I still don't know what I'm doing, but so my brother had this Jackson guitar. It was a metal guitar, like a big pointy headstock, and so it was awful. I traded it in and got this Telecaster copy, and then just kind of like figured it out. Like I went about things the complete ass backwards way, because I didn't learn other people's songs. I didn't like know notes or anything. Like I don't know any of the theory. I genuinely still don't. Like I'll go into practice and I'll be like, I have a new song, and Stevie will go like, okay, well, what key's that in? Stevie plays bass, sorry, and I don't know, and we just kind of figure it out. I feel so bad for him because he has to like make musical sense of me doing all this crazy stuff. But yeah, so then I just kind of taught myself, and then just started writing songs, because I always feel like if you're going to do something, then you should be in a band. You know, you should write songs and record it and be in a band. And so I wrote, I think like 7, and I was really into like this band called the Icarus Line, and like I love them. They're so good.
Oh my God, I saw Joey Cardamon open for Mark Lanigan, and I was so impressed that I nearly didn't enjoy Mark Lanigan.
Like,
and I keep saying I'm going to reach out to him for an interview because he follows me on Instagram, and actually now you just reminded me that's definitely what I need to do.
Yeah, I have a bunch of questions you could ask him for me. Do you know, I was meant to see them in Belfast, and then got arrested by, we'll not talk about that too much, and then I didn't get to go. And then I was at the Belfast Lanigan show as well, and like no one knew who he was or cared, and he was out doing his kind of, you know, gothy kind of noisy electro thing.
He's and like if like Marilyn Manson had a baby with David Bowie.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good description. Yeah, it's pretty good. I think he's great. Like the Icarus Line are one of my all-time favorite
Let's
bands.
interview him together.
Double team him. We should. That would be amazing.
Okay, I'm going to reach out during the week. I
I
actually am. Will you remind me? And I'll try again. I'll be like, come on. Because what is he doing? He's amazing.
So, and I saw them then whenever the lineup kind of changed, supporting Evan Dando, but they're just great. They're great, and so like the first stuff I wrote was kind of like Icarus Liney, Refused kind of thing. It was like post-hardcore, like These Arms Are Snakes kind of stuff, and so then I formed this band Comply or Die, and then it went for like 6 or 7 years or something, and then that's kind of what led me to the being guitar. And then nobody would sing, so then I was like, I'll try and do that too. It's just like if it needs done and no one else is going to do it, I'll just go ahead and do it, you know. So yeah, and now I'm stuck playing guitar. But yeah, it's good. Enjoy it.
That's great. I love that you're so inventive and creative in what you do. Like, I think that's brilliant. I think more people should try new stuff. Like, genuinely, like, I didn't think I'd have a podcast. Yeah.
Boom. And it's really good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My mom messaged me today and she was like, I'm happy that you're doing more than one a week. I really think people were missing it. I was like, I don't even think anyone watches it, Rachel.
Amazing. Rachel.
Yeah, so I'm really curious, obviously, to talk about gig memories. So we already talked about Joy Cardamon and the Icarus, but is there any like maybe top 3 standout gigs? Because I really want to get people buzzed for when this starts off again.
Yeah.
That even your own band or other bands that you were just like, wow.
I can do both. So I saw at the drive-in and the Murder City Devils, and that was on the Relationship with Command tour in the Empire in Belfast, and it was like, so they were just breaking, like they were huge at the drive-in were, and Murder City Devils were one of my all-time favorites as well. And I think I was 15 tops, like, and borrowed my dad's leather jacket because I was like, if I'm wearing a leather jacket, then I'll look gold. And they like got up to the bouncer and he kind of looked at me and he kind of looked at my girlfriend that I was with then, and I was just like pleading with him, just being like, don't make me look like an idiot, just let me in. So I got in, and it was like, it was insane. It was so good. And then I seen the Chemical Brothers. Well, that's a bit of a different kind of, but I seen them in the Ulster Hall. I went on my own and was like stone cold sober for it, and it was just incredible. Like it's just such a different kind of show. Like I like lots of different kinds of music, but from like going to see pretty much exclusively bands up until then, and then just having these guys and like the sound, I used to be underneath these speakers, I swear I was vibrating. It was so loud. It was great. And then I seen this band called Narrows in Leeds, and it's like people out of like Botch and These Arms Are Snakes and like Russian Circles and like Sumac, like they're heavy. And so we went over there and met the guy behind the bar was from Northern Ireland, which like he was just giving us free drinks. It was messy, but they were just, it was so intense and like full on, and it was just, you could tell they meant it. It wasn't posturing, you know. It was like when it's heavy and it's angry and it's loud and it's like raging, and they meant every single thing that they were doing. It wasn't just like heavy metal dudes, like it was insane. The next day I woke up and we had to fly back, then my neck just, it was like Batman, like I had to turn like this. It was awesome. And then for us, like we play the Empire up here, which is like, it's really iconic. Like I seen at the drive-in there, I seen Lanigan play there with Queens of Stone Age band kind of, and like, so I've seen a bunch of like Trail of Dead, I seen them there, and they were just like pouring whiskey over the front row. It was like it was insane. But yeah, so we got to play there and like it was great. And then we got to play the Academy too down in Dublin, and then we got to play this place up here called Cuckoo. And it's not like super known for shows, but the crowd, we were headlining that, and the crowd were like chanting our name and like singing songs back, and that was the last show we played before lockdown. So we were like, this is kind of starting, like, what's this? And so it was a good show to go out on, but like that, hearing people sing stuff back, like, you always watch like rock and roll documentaries and they're like, oh, I'm like, and they're talking about Wembley singing a song back, and you're talking maybe about like 150 people, and like some of those are singing back, but it was great. It was so good. Like, playing shows is what I live for, like, so I'm missing it a lot right now. Yourself.
Putting on shows is what I live for, like, do you know what I mean? I've only actually been to Belfast once for a gig. I accidentally ended up on tour with the Kings of Leon when I was 23.
Wow.
So yeah, look, so we went from Dublin to Belfast, and we were in the Point up there, which is amazing. But I am curious to know what the venues in your area are like what's the nightlife in a normal situation?
Right now, there's like, there used to be a lot of places to play, like, again, because I've been doing this for a long time, you see it go through, it's secular, like sometimes it'll like be loads and it'll die off, but at the minute, like, there's Voodoo to play, and it's like the Rock bar up here at the minute. It's a great place to play. Like, they put a lot of money into the sound system. The sound man's really good. Trying to think where else. There's like the Odyssey, it's like huge. And then Cuckoo put on shows. There's a bar called the Pavilion. I'm trying to think where else you can play up here. I like to go up to this place called Port Rush. It's up the north coast. And there's this bar up there called the Atlantic, and like it's a good 40 minutes outside of Belfast. There's so many great bands come from up there. But whenever we played up there, and it was like a party show. Everything was just, the energy was just unreal. So, but like, if you want to play and you have the inclination to go out and find it, then there's places that'll let you do it, and like Students' Union, they started putting on shows, and they knocked it down, so it's kind of changed a little, but like, you can put on shows there. McHugh's as well, like it's like one of the oldest bars in Belfast, but they're like, you can hire the basement, and like, it's a good sound system, it's a good size, and yeah, so it's just same as anything. If you've like enough heart to go and find it, like, there's places to do it.
But there's so much talent up your way. Like, I mean, I'm obsessed with Donegal, for instance. There's so many good bands in there. Blackbird and Crow, Kessler Effect. Then you've got bands from Derry like Dirty Faces, and you've got like Junk Drawer. Like, you're blessed. Like, the music up your way, like whatever's in the water, lads, keep it up.
There's so many great bands from up here at the minute. Like I mentioned, Fagash, and like they do a Kylie Minogue cover, and it's like unbelievable. It's fantastic. It's so good. And then there's a band up here called Winona Bleach, and they're like pumpkins, kind of like 90s-y. There's like, they just put out a single on Friday there called Glimmer off of the new record. See, I'm doing promo for them. I should be promoting my band.
This is what I do as well. So you're fine. I understand.
Yeah, but I do, and I'm like, I know those guys, and they're amazing. They're well worth checking out. And then New Pagans from up here, they're phenomenal. There's just so many great bands, and like, even where we practice, like there's like 2 bands share our room, and then there's like bands up the hall, and you kind of get to hear new songs before anybody else gets to hear them. And then like I write reviews as well, because I'm already not busy enough. And like, I reviewed the Bitch Falcon record. It came out on Friday there. They're from Uruguay. Unreal. So good. I love that kind of like dreamy floatiness mixed with like just gnarly bass and like pounding drums. That's a great record. Great record.
Yeah, I actually know 2 of the guys who worked on the production end of that.
Oh, really?
And yeah, no, I'm really proud of them. Like, so yeah, I ordered the vinyl, so I can't wait for it to arrive. That's how I'm going to listen to it.
Yeah, I want the orange one. I gotta wait till I get paid again. But yeah, it's like, who wants black vinyl? I'll get the orange one.
Yeah, no, I pre-ordered it when they announced it. I was like, yeah, no, I'm going to support these lads. Like, do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's very exciting to me. Yeah, so where do you do your reviews then?
So I at the start of lockdown, then through the Old Crows thing, I was doing like a blog. So it was Old Crows promotions, and I was like interviewing bands actually. Got to interview like some bigger bands and stuff, and it was just to kind of help them, like I was saying, like keep relevant and like have something to put out, and like I enjoy writing, and I just thought it'd be something new. And then this guy, he was doing stuff for Paper Tigers, and he was like, "Do you want to try your hand at this?" And so it's Uber Rock. He's based up here, so I reviewed the Catalan record the other week. It's out now, and then the Bitch Falcon review should be up in a couple of days. So I'm only on like the second one, but it's great. I love it. It's fun.
Yeah, I started reviewing for an online magazine recently
I mean,
enough. One of the guys I work with, like Kozak, he started his own magazine called Tomorrow's Magazine. Um, I'm finding it difficult to adapt to the written format.
oh really? I I really like it. I don't know if you've noticed, but I like to talk, and I'm like get super wordy, and then because he was like 400 words, and I was like, so I was just writing, and then done a word count, and I was like, oh man, like I'm already at like 800. So, but he was like, it's fine, you just work away. Why is it difficult for you?
Well, I only learned how to read and write when I was 10, and I only learned how to read and write in English when I was 14.
Whoa.
And I have it in my head because teachers taught me my whole life I'd never be able to write. So I'm really trying to break that. Like I obviously can write, I'm a very
Right.
good writer, but it's
Yeah.
still there. So it just takes me a lot longer. And I take reviewing so seriously that I could not just review off an EPK. I have to, on average, listen to a song 52 times before I believe that I know
Oh,
the song well enough. So right
yeah.
now I'm quite slow. Yeah.
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 I mean, like I I'm the same. I don't have to listen to it 52 times, but I don't like whenever I was writing interview questions, I didn't want to be like, who's your favorite band and what's your favorite color? And like, because I'm so conscious of being on the other side of it that you get bored answering the same things over and over. And there's only so many times you can be like, you can say how the band got together, you know? And like, I know people probably want to know it, but it's dull. So like I'd go back and I would spend time listening to the back catalogue, and I would read interviews, and like I'd go on the Facebook and like do research. But it's like that all takes a long time, you know. So yeah, for doing the reviews, I had to kind of just go, okay, well, like I was lucky that I knew the Catalan record anyway, and I'd actually interviewed Bitch Falcon already, so it was like I know like where they're coming from, and I seen them play up here. So I'd seen them live, and all that kind of helped. But it'll be interesting whenever I get handed something like that I'm not familiar with. You know, I might have to try listen to it 52 times and see how that goes.
I don't know if my process is smart, but it's definitely what I do because I really like, there's only so much you can, for me anyway, I don't listen to music the way normal people do, I don't think. To me, music is completely different to how most people would view it. Like, I don't have a day that goes by without music there. Or if
Yeah.
I do, that means I'm seriously depressed and we should worry. Like, my neighbors actually text each other when they haven't heard music in 2 days and go, can we please check in on her? Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, so to me, it was just really important to really delve deep. Like, so I'm really good at finding like new bands and the songs that are like going to be relevant or whatever, but it's just the writing process. I'm not there yet, so I'll probably ask you for pointers off screen.
I just talk crap. I'm just like like I love see from I think from writing lyrics and stuff, and I don't like to be like very obvious, you know, that like I wrote this record one time, and it was kind of based on like Jason and the Argonauts. Like, do you ever see that film? And it was kind of like concepty, and but it was all metaphor for something else. So I enjoy like playing with words and vocabulary and all that kind of stuff. So I think coming from that point of view probably makes it a little easier. Like if you only learn to read and write English like 14. Like that's crazy. Like it's interesting as well. I'm sure like it'll actually add a really different slant to the writing. Yeah, you're gonna have to send me some stuff.
I can talk fine. It's just my grammar is kind of all over the place. So I downloaded Grammarly and I'm getting better, like, and I am improving, but I'm just not going as fast as is necessary. So,
Yeah,
look,
I wouldn't worry. Like, do what you gotta do. You know, like, um, and Almost Famous, that he's talking to God, what do you call the writer, and he's like, I just used to sit and like write shit just to write, or like Hunter Thompson just used to retype Hemingway just to get the rhythm and like used to like that kind of style. I think that's kind of like learning covers, but as a writer, it's interesting anyway. I enjoy like creative process and seeing what other people's are.
it's mad. I just went to reach this because this is what I'm trying to read at the moment.
So how far are you into it?
Man, if I'm able to read 4 pages a day, I'm doing well.
Yeah, I think I read it in like a week. Like it's so good. It's it's so dark and there's no let up. Yeah, it's great.
He's such an amazing man. Like,
Yeah,
but yeah, and then I'm reading, things the grandchildren should know. It's the book about the eels.
right.
So that's really interesting. If you're looking for a good music book, how would
Sure.
you release your first album? Like the eels, like how that happened, the whole story behind that is phenomenal. Like I would recommend it.
Cool.
But yes, I was trying to read more in order to write better. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. Like I love Hunter, like Hunter Thompson. I love him, and like a really big impact on me, like growing up and his outlook and just his approach to life. And so I mean, I have to be conscious that I don't slip into Hunter isms whenever I write, but like certainly like that, yeah. It's like you listen to music to be inspired to go write other songs, It's the same deal. Really.
It is. It really is the exact same. So one of the questions I usually ask to bands that have female members, obviously Haley's not with us this evening, but I am interested actually to hear answers from the male perspective as well. So this could be good. Um, what do you feel about women in the music industry? So how do you feel maybe Haley might be treated differently to you in the band with respect to what's going on, or is there anything that stands out to you as just different?
Yeah. Whenever I was putting the band together, I purposely sought out. I wanted like a female girl voice, and like that was for a few reasons, and like a lot of them, I'm really just drawn to that kind of voicing, like that sound, and so much of the music I listen to, like, has a female vocal, and that's across like a number of different kind of genres. Like, I really like Taylor Swift, and like I saw her in Dublin, and Lana Del Rey, and Lord, and this band, The Purity Ring, and like L7 and Hole, and like a whole bunch of bands like Sleigh Bells, and like the majority of the music I listen, like Pretty Girls, Make Graves, and like the majority of the music I listen to just tends to have a female vocal. So it's always something that I've been drawn to. And the especially from having sang and write lyrics in all pretty much every other band that I've been in, like I wanted something new. And I feel that the female perspective is a completely, like, if you listen to The Purity Ring, like a guy couldn't write that, and I want that kind of thing, I don't want it to be like, I love like Mastodon and High on Fire, and it's like orcs and goblins, and like that's cool and all, yeah, like that's fun, but I want something just more, and I felt that that was the way to go. um so but alongside that, I was also very conscious that, challenge is the wrong word, but I would have to be conscious of how people would approach us then. And again, because I kind of, like, for lack of a better term, manage the band, like, I'm very, very conscious of, like, I'll never put us in a situation where I feel like that might be exploited or be degrading. And we, like, female fronted isn't a genre, you know, like, and so when we present ourselves as a band, and we're a unit. And yes, Haley is the front woman, and she's incredible singer and front woman, and that's great. And I feel there's a line, and I don't mean to stutter so much, I'm just trying to be clear, but
it's
like,
a very hard topic, so I
yeah,
understand. It's very hard to do it politically correct as well, and we all have to
well,
watch our P's and Q's to a point.
yeah, I'm not trying to, like, hide anything. It just, I think there's a line between, it's great that there's so much more of, like, a female presence and voice, and, like, there's a line between celebrating that and exploiting that. I don't want to be on this side of things, you know. I'm like, I'm not a girl, so, like, I will never ever, like, fully understand or pretend to understand that some of the difficulties that she might face, you know. And but I try to support her through that, and we've been really, really lucky in that the people that we work with aren't like that, and the people that we've encountered, for the most part, are not like that. We're careful with who we work with, and, like, if people are gonna put on a show, or people are in a band, or we're gonna play with, like, I don't want to play with, like, some white supremacist, like, gay hating whatever, you know, like, so we just won't do that. But yeah, so I mean, we do get the odd kind of guy on Instagram or Facebook being like, she's hot, and it's just like, you're a dick. And, like, just get rid of them. And the girl, Lauren, from Churches, I love Churches again, and so she is obviously very outspoken, and, like, she gets a lot of, like, degrading messages and abuse, and we went to see them as well in Dublin, and they were phenomenal. But her just unrelenting approach to that, and it's just like, this is unacceptable, and there's no gray area. Like, you cross that line and we're done, you know. And, like, I've seen footage of her at shows, and it's been like, some idiot will hold up, like, some sign being like, will you marry me, Lauren? And she's like, why would I do that? Like, I don't know you, you're down there, I'm up here, like, we don't know each other, so why? No, you know. And I mean, I feel for her, because it's not fair to be put in those kind of position, and,
See, I
like,
don't
to
mind
be
that
objective.
stuff too much, because I have a mirror. I'm quite aware that I'm attractive. I'm okay with
Yeah,
that. And that sounds like I'm really big headed, but no, like, I'm a retired model. I'm fully aware of what I look like on the
yeah,
outside. What I have issue with is men deciding that I know nothing about music because I'm a woman. That upsets me.
yeah. I mean, that's such bullshit, like, you know. And so I think on the whole, we've been lucky in that we haven't had a lot of that kind of thing happen, you know. And I think because we came out swinging when we came out, you know, like, we were prepared and we were ready. And, like, again, I'm not being big headed either, but I know we're a good band, and I believe in our songs, and the songs are good. So I think it's difficult to turn around and be like, hey, your band sucks. You know. And but yeah, it's something I'm incredibly conscious of, like, at all times, even if, like, we're posting photos, or, like, you know, the comments below them, or any of that kind of thing. But I mean, I think we've been really, really lucky so far, and everyone in the band, like, is conscious of that, and we all look out for those things. Not that we need to look out for, but it's just something that we're conscious of. It shows and everything, you know. And it's like, because guys can be dicks, or at least just think with them. And
People can be.
well, that's true too. That's true too. Um, So yeah, I think we've been lucky that we haven't had to really encounter that kind of awful behavior so far. And like I was saying before, like the local scene here means so much to me, and like on the whole, like we don't really experience that thing up here. Obviously, there's a few individuals, and you're always going to get that, and you can't really do anything about that. But I think is like if you put out the right kind of message yourselves, that makes a big difference as well. And I think it's incredibly important to like not hide away from those kind of things, and when you need to be outspoken about it, and confront those behaviors and talk about it, because it'll well help change behaviors and how people think about things. So that was a very serious answer, but a serious question.
No, but it's great. But I think the only way we can change it exactly is by having an open conversation. That's why I have this question, because the more we talk about it, the more perception changes as well. And also, I think it's phenomenal that a band with a female singer is doing as well. Like, I think it's great Bitch Falcon are doing so well. I think it's great Vern and Jane are doing so well. I think it's amazing Amy Montgomery's doing so well. Blackbird and Crow, yourselves. Like, and that's not coming. See, people misunderstand this. She must be a feminazi. No, I'm a proud woman.
Yeah. It was funny, like I got asked last night if I was a feminist, and I was just like, of course. And I was like, why wouldn't you be? And the guy was just like, well, you shouldn't be, that's they hate men. And I was like, no. And I was like, that's the issue. I was like, it's about equality. Like, that's all it is. And I mean, there's obviously still some misguided people out there, but like you say, it's important to have the conversation. Yeah.
So thank you very much for your serious and an open dialogue with me. Thank you. Yeah. Last question. Well, we'll see. I can see that you're covered in ink. Talk to me about tattoos.
Oh my lord. Yeah. I have a few. Yeah. I actually don't know how many I have anymore. I've just started doing my legs. So I've 3 on my legs. I've my chest done. I've both arms. My mom and dad are insanely cool people. Like, they put on my first show and they bought me my first tattoo. So it's like, really, they can't complain because they're to blame for all of it. But they're pretty great. But I got my first tattoo for my 18th birthday, and then like 2 months later got another one, and then got another one, and then it just kind of spiraled. And now I have a couple of, like, I have a Zeppelin tattoo, Pretty Girls. I've got Murder City. I think they're the only band ones I have. I think so. Yeah, and then I've got like both my arms done, and I have a goat coming out of a bear. It's pretty cool. I like him. Yeah, it's like, that's the one whenever people are asking you about it, and then you're like, oh, I have a goat coming out of a bear, and that's the one everyone's just like, that's nice. No one knows what to say. But and then I have a mermaid. It's pretty cool.
Oh, I love her. Yeah, she's like really like old school.
Family show. Yeah, but I just love getting them. Like, I got my leg, the machine done a couple of weeks ago by Connor Curran in Crooked Mile, in Hollywood. Like, I live in Hollywood, so like, he's great, and just, it's all traditional kind of stuff. And like, you go in and they're playing Soundgarden and Pearl Jam and Nirvana, and it's just like, I can sit here for as long as you want me to. And then but like, it's all Chris Crooks from Belfast done a lot of mine, Helen from Skullduggery done a lot, Jenna Hayes done some. And then like, I got like I got done, and it was like really early on, and they're not as great, but like, I'll get them redone at some stage. And then with my chest done, but it sucked. It was awful. Like, the way they put cling film around you afterwards. Yeah. So I was sitting on the train, just like C-3PO on the train with this like man bra on. It was awful. But yeah, good times. Yeah.
Yeah, no, the reason I talk about tattoos is because obviously they're an art form, and I think it's really important to support tattoo artists in this time by buying vouchers and stuff until you can get back in there.
For sure. Like, my mom and dad, their job is, they are artists. Like, they paint and they sculpt and they own a gallery. And so for the last, like, God, it must be like 15, 16 years, like that's their job. Has they're artists, you know, that's what they do, and that's how they make a living. So like, again, it just comes back to supporting local talent and keeping those kind of people afloat, you know. Like, I talk about this all the time as well. Like, I don't, people who don't have some kind of creative outlet in their life, I don't understand how people can live that way. Like, I play guitar, I play drums, like I write, like all this kind of thing, and they like paint, sculpt, do a whole bunch of other stuff. Like my brother, he's an illustrator as well, and he kind of plays in a band as well, and he's got a radio show as well. It's Red Mountain Radio Show, if you want to check it out. And they play like local bands, and they've started getting people on to do interviews, and now he's getting into the whole like promoting local talent thing as well. And it just never ends, you know. But I can't imagine having a life where you just come home and watch like EastEnders. Like, it would be very unfulfilling.
Yeah, I think at that point you're just existing, you're not really living.
That's not life, like, you know. But yeah, if you can, like Connor Curran, Crooked Mile Tattoo, Hollywood, he's got t-shirts, vouchers, all that kind of jazz. He's great. Like, I don't want to lift my leg up to show you, but
I want to turn
great,
around
yeah.
and show you my back. We'll do that after the interview.
Sure.
Is there anything you'd like to add to the interview before I let you go?
Just go check out the band. Like, it, yeah, we're Paper Tigers NI on Facebook and Instagram, and current singles No Ghosts Walk. It's out now, and like, go check out Flames and Gucci Smiles. There's videos on YouTube. Yeah, and if you can, go check out Old Crow's promotions. I put on shows through their interview bands. So if you're in a band and you want to do a show in Belfast or interview, hit me up. I'm there. Like, I'm all for it. And yeah, just like, go find bands in your country, in your town, in your city, and like, go, like, you must spend so much money on shirts, you know, like, that's unreal. Like, go help those people, because like, there's a lot of bands get funding and money and everything. Not everybody gets that, and you know, it's expensive, and Spotify pays nothing for like 18,000 streams. We got £7. You know, that doesn't buy lunch. So go support the bands in your city and town and help them keep making the music that you love to hear. It's important.
It's so important, especially right now. We just need to be a little bit creative and inventive in how we do that.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for the interview. I'm going to start recording now.
Sure, no problem. Awesome. Thanks.